Okay, in this lesson we're going to be taking a step back. We're going to be looking at the Beach Boys' Surfer Girl. This song actually uses a lot of stuff. There's a lot of open chords and a lot of bar chords involved in this song. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and break each one down for you, but in order to learn this song, obviously you need to be comfortable with your open chords and your 6th and your 5th string bar chords, because there's a lot of changes going on here. The first thing to know about this song is that it's in 6/8 time. So we're thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So what I'm going to do is show you the chord progression, and then you can go ahead and write it down. So what I'd like you to do real quick, if you can, is go ahead and pause this, grab yourself a pencil and a piece of paper, and write down this chord progression. First thing I want you to do is I want you to write intro, because this is the intro of the song. It's going to go D to F sharp minor. So write D for one measure, write F sharp minor for one measure, then you're going to go to B minor for one measure, then back to F sharp minor for one measure. So there's your first 4 chords: D, F sharp minor, B minor, F sharp minor. Now the second section goes G, E minor, each for one measure, and A. And then it stops, and then he starts singing the verse. So what we have to do here is go through and make sure that you've got this written down. So D for one measure, F sharp minor for one measure, B minor for one measure, and then back to F sharp minor for a measure. Those are your first 4. Then you've got G for a measure, E minor for a measure, and then technically A for 2 measures, but you don't keep strumming. It just stops. Okay? So again, there's 2 different ways to approach this. We're going to approach this right now from a strumming perspective, but we certainly could add a picking perspective into it as well. So you could go D, I'm sorry. Okay? Now if you wanted to pick it, one thing that works really well is if you take the bass note of each chord every time. So for instance, D, its bass note is the 4th string. The 4th string is D, hence being the bass note of the D chord. So what you could do is make a pattern where you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for instance. So we're going. So what I'm doing is going, again, I've showed you these picking patterns before. You're going toward the floor and then toward the ceiling. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, for instance, when it goes to F sharp minor, you could choose any of these strings to create the same sort of pattern with. I probably would still start with the bass note of F sharp, though, which is the 6th string. So maybe instead of going, because they sound so low, maybe skip a couple of these in the middle. Or even something kind of like that. So if I was picking it, then I would have something like this. See, what I'm doing is I'm simply choosing strings. I'm not really paying attention to which ones I'm choosing. I'm just playing toward the floor and then toward the ceiling in a 6 pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it confuses you to just sort of play in an improvisation sort of way, you could actually pick, 4 strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm just heading back up. And then maybe when I go to F sharp, I could just pick 4 strings out of this. Maybe I pick 6, 3, 2, and 1. And then B minor, maybe 5, because that would be my bass note here. 5, 3, 2, 1. And then G, maybe 6, 3, 2, 1. I could keep picking the same strings over and over and over, except the bass note would change. Okay? But again, what I want you to focus on right now is strumming. So when you strum this, you have to decide if you want to play them all down like that, or whether you want to play sort of a down-up pattern like this. think that feels very comfortable, but you certainly could try that. I think I'd rather just do them all down, and then I'd have my up still available in between to do things with. Okay, so that would be the intro. Okay, so you've got that written down now on a piece of paper, intro. You've got those 8 chords written down with A being the same chord twice at the end. Then we're going to go on to the verse, and that's as far as we're going to go with this song right now, is getting through the intro and the verse. Now the verse is going, again, hopefully you have your pencil handy. The verse now is D for a measure, B minor for a measure, G for a measure, and then A for a measure. And that's the old doo-wop chord progression. If you know what a 1-4-5 is, this is called a 1-6-4-5. So D, B minor, G, A. Okay, so we're going. Okay, then we're going to make D for a measure, then D7 for a measure. So D for one measure, D7 for a next measure, then G for a measure, and then G minor for a measure. Kind of the old Beatles thing of going from major to minor. So the verse now, you've got D, B minor for a measure, G for a measure, A, then D, D7, G, G minor. Again, it doesn't matter if you play G with 3 fingers or G with 4 fingers, or even the G power chord form where you don't use your first finger here and you kill the 5th string. They're all fine. So if you want to play G like this, or G like this, or G like this, or even for that matter, if you want to play G as a bar chord, you could do that too. It doesn't make any difference. Okay? So those are the first 8 measures of the verse. Now make sure you have this on your paper. You have D, B minor, G, A, D, D7, G, G minor. And then our little bridge that goes into the next verse again. This is D, B minor for a measure, G, A, then you just repeat it again. So D, B minor, G, A. So you do that pattern twice, which if you look, it's the same as the first verse pattern. So it's that 1-6-4-5 I just mentioned, D, B minor, G, A. So here's the entire verse section now. So you have D, B minor, G, A, D, D7, G, G minor, then D, B minor, G, A. Repeat that again, D, or B minor, excuse me, G to A. Then we go back and we're going to do that verse again, and then we're going to continue on. But that's as far as we're going to get right now. So again, in order to play this, you need to be comfortable with both your 6th string and your 5th string bar chords as well as your open chords. If you only know your 6th string bar chords, you don't really need to play B as the full chord. You know, you could play B as this bottom one that you learned before. That would be just fine as well. Again, you need to make adjustments to these. Let's say, for instance, you were going to play this song and you were going to play it real soon and you didn't know D7. Well, obviously you could look D7 up, but if you were just pressed for time, you could play D for 2 measures and just skip that D7 and the song would still sound just fine. It just sounds a little more colorful adding it in there, but it's not like it's going to completely kill the song if you don't do that. Same thing with B minor. B minor is a 5th string bar chord, sounds really nice and full. But if you only know the bottom B minor, this open chord, play that. You know, obviously I encourage you to learn all these other things so you know them, but this video isn't really about all the chords, it's about the song. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.